What are you doing, buddy? Huh? What you doing? Huh? What are you doing? I wasn't expecting to even bring him over here today. Completely forgot about it, but he misses his viewers as well. Isn't that right, buddy? What are we working on today? You don't know. Okay, go play with that other new puppy. Possible new puppy rescue. So today, I am almost finished working on a hand plane for a buddy of mine. I didn't cover the restoration process because I've done that before, and I'm going to try to link some descriptions or videos in the description or above me somewhere. That's new to me. But what I'm going to focus on is this particular hand plane restoration needs a tote repair. The tote or the handle is completely broken in half. Let's get into it. So as you can see, this tote is broke completely in half. I had it backwards. It is not a clean break. There's a gap, a pretty significant gap all the way around the back. Regardless of how I try to line it up, it just doesn't. So what I'm going to have to do is try to remove some material from the bottom of the break and the top of the break. Get a piece of filler material, another piece of wood. I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to glue or epoxy it in place. I think I'm going to epoxy it. Then I need to refinish it. There's not a store around here that sells beech. I'd have to order it online. And because I'm going to be staining it, I don't really think it matters. I'm going to take the dimensions of this curly maple, lock that down. And it is 0.126. Then I am going to try and hold this together and mark the tote. Give me a reference not to sand past. This is just what I'm hoping is going to work. Focus on what I'm doing here. Give myself a reference line. And then I'm going to try to bring that down. I'm going to start with 100 grit because that's what I got available. I'm going to sand it down, try to get it smooth, flat and level. A little bit at a time, checking it as I go because I don't want to remove too much. I don't want to make it unlevel. Looking at that, you can tell that break is at an angle. Getting there. Now I'm working on the second piece of the tote. I am almost where I need to be, almost to my reference marks, the reference scratch that I made. It is almost flat, but I'll make a couple of passes. I'll rotate it, make a couple more passes, and rotate it again, make a couple more passes. I'm only doing that hoping that it's going to make everything as uniform as possible and I don't lean too heavy one side or the other. And I'm not putting a lot of weight on it. I'm trying to just let the sandpaper do the work. But holding it up against the contrasting color, not laying flat, I can tell that it is nice and flush all the way around. But I still need to remove just a touch more to get to the mark that I made. Okay. Now I could, you see, it's actually mating up very, very nicely. But if I were to glue it together like this, it would be short. I need to replace that wood, and that's what I'm going to do next. Hey, I think this is actually going to turn out pretty good. So I got my piece of maple, my filler wood, cut out. It is just oversized from the Tote itself. And what I'm planning on doing, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to leave it to guesswork to see if I'm lining this up correctly. So I'm going to need to I'm not sure if I'm going to glue it up twice. So what I need to do is I need to drill the hole through the piece that's on here. So I can either glue this to the bottom or the top of the tote and then drill the hole. I'm wondering if I can clamp it in place and just go ahead and drill it. And I've got a dowel rod. And what I'll do is I'll put the dowel rod through it like it would be if the bolt was through there to hold them in line correctly. That's what I'm going to do. If you can tell, here I have gouged inside. I left the perimeter untouched so it's a nice smooth surface. But even though I sanded with 100 grit, I wanted to give this epoxy something to bite on. So I grooved it out and put some little dimples in it just to give something for that epoxy to hold on to. And I'm going to do that on every side of every piece. All I'm doing here is mixing up a simple 2-part epoxy. This particular epoxy is 2 equal parts, and it has a generous work time. I think it is 6 to 8 hours cure time before I can pull the clamps off and start working on it. But I'm putting a thin layer on every surface that's going to come in contact, and I'm trying to steer clear of the hole as not to have any buildup in it. If by chance you're wondering why I've got Vaseline at my workstation, or you think you have an idea of why I'm using Vaseline, go ahead and pause the video now and put your guess down in the comment. I'm curious to see what everybody thinks, and I'll let you know here shortly. Here, just same old thing as normal, putting epoxy on parts. Don't know what else to say. Just trying to get everything coated really well before I clamp it up. Down. I'm not worried about squeeze out because I'm going to be taking a file to this anyways to clean it up and shape it. So I'm not worried about getting epoxy everywhere because I'm going to be taking a file to it. Maybe I should have used a bigger clamp, but I think that is nice. And this is 30-minute set epoxy, so I'm not worried about it setting up on me yet. Clean up some of this, squeeze out so my final cleanup isn't as hard or as difficult or time consuming. I'm interested to see if I can actually pull it off, make it look halfway decent. I think the saving grace on this is that I'm going to stain it. Now, if I wasn't staining it, if I was going to go all natural, I would have sourced out the same kind or same species of wood. But because I'm staining this, I'm not too worried about it. And if there's a seam or whatever, hey, that's just a reminder that this was repaired by a friend and he did a decent job. I hope you feel that way. If y'all have watched this long, I truly appreciate it. I am still trying to grow my channel. I know I don't post as often as I used to. But if you'd like and share this with somebody, I greatly appreciate it. And here shortly, I am actually going to be changing the name of the channel from Big Life to Lionhead Restorations. I came up with Lionhead Leatherwork years ago. And I want to just move that name onto the restorations that I do, because my books are closed. I'm 8 months out on orders right now, and I'm not going to be taking any orders until I get completely caught up and take a break from orders, wife's orders, and I need a break too. But I'm very thankful for everybody who's reached out to me and wanted me to fix something or make something for them. It has been a very nice experience. No, kitty. Get down. You get glue on you. But Lionhead Restorations is what this channel is going to be moving towards, because that is my business. Okay, for the moment of truth, whether or not this dowel rod's going to come out, I used some tape and some Vaseline on it, and the fit was very tight to begin with. Don't know if the Vaseline is going to achieve what I was hoping for, but when I have glass bedded rifle actions in the past using AccuGels or any other bedding compound, I use shoe polish as a release agent. So I was hoping that the Vaseline would work the same way, because I don't have any shoe polish. So let's see. It's tight. That's, oh, hey, look at that. Perfect. I pull out a couple of different files to find out which is going to work best. And I'm just going to start working the wood down. I kind of wish I had made a jig or some kind of handle to hold this, but you know, it's where I'm at. So let's get started. Just start taking it down. It appears as though this particular file is just a little bit coarser and is making quick work of this wood. I said if I were to do a bunch of tote repairs, I would make all kinds of different jigs. I would make a jig to hold this while it's gluing up. And I'd probably make a jig to bolt this to, so I could hold it in my hand and work on it a little easier. Who knows? Maybe in the future we'll see that. This half round file came in perfect on the inside radiuses of this. I can't even feel the transition through here. I haven't gotten to this side yet, but all I'm doing in this inside radius is just letting the weight of the file kind of roll, hitting it for this one side, and then I'll come back this other way, and it's just knocking it down. And I'm just barely removing the finish on here. I'm still gonna have to take the finish off, so that final process will, I'm sure, just make this perfectly smooth, because I can barely feel this as it is. It's looking pretty good. It's got a racing stripe. If y'all have watched my videos, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to this one because I know it is a very smooth file. Oh, I can't even feel that transition. Hit it from both sides just to be safe. Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and then show y'all where I'm at. I think this turned out really nice. You can see the transition, of course, but I can't feel it at all. I cannot feel that transition one bit. It's seamless. Now, a number 4 size tote has always been small for my hand, but I am spawned a Sasquatch. Next step is to finish it, try to get it looking dark like this one. My only fear is I think I went a little too far with this. It is very, very smooth. I took a lot of the imperfections out. And the plane itself is kind of rough. But my personal opinion, the way a tool feels in the hand can make or break it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So my first step in my finishing process to get the Tote knob dark is going to use iron acetate. This iron acetate is very old. I'm still getting good results with it. This probably 5 months old. I've heard that it doesn't last that long, but I'm still getting good results with it, so I'm still using it. Basically, it is white distilled vinegar and steel wool dissolved in it for about a week. The only thing I will do different next time is I will strain any of the steel wool out of it. So I didn't do that this time. This is part of an ebonizing process. The only difference is with ebonizing, to turn it black, you would add tannins. And I've done that on axe handles where I'll add a tannin. I'll let it soak in overnight, and then I'll put the iron acetate on it, and it turns really dark. On the hickory handles I've done, it didn't do completely black, but when I applied the tannins a second time, it was almost instantaneously black. Let this soak in, and then I'm going to wipe it, burnish it off, check it out, see if I think it needs another coat, and then put my Danish Watco oil on it. Just my luck. I thought I was recording. I was talking to y'all, and I didn't hit record. So what I did was, after I let the iron acetate dry, I wiped the excess off with this rag. I burnished it with triple aught steel wool. It was pretty dark already. Honestly, could have just used an oil or something, or a clear Watco, but I went ahead and put this this black walnut on here, and just follow the manufacturer's recommendations for staining your wood, or whatever process you prefer. You do you. And after the stain is done, I'm going to apply some wax. Man, I wish y'all could have seen this before I applied the Watco, because it was pretty dark. It was almost as dark as the knob that's already been treated. You have to take my word for it, or try it yourself and figure it out. Find out for yourself. God, hit the record button. I called and talked to my buddy Sal, sending pictures of where I was at before I applied the second coat of Watco, and showed him that the ring hadn't been, hidden. One thing that I may or may not have thought about was that Sal does restorations himself, and one of his signature calling cards is painted rings on his restored tools. So he said to keep the ring, don't try to hide it. I agree. I think it looks kind of cool. I'm almost done. Put this paste wax on here, buff it out, and reassemble everything. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Till next time, get out there, save something from being forgotten, and live a big life. truly appreciate y'all watching the video. Don't know how long it's going to be. Haven't edited it yet, but I'll try to make it, there's hours of footage, so I'll try to make it informative, but, you know, not boring. Can't promise anything.